Welcome to Dawn Stadium, the start of a new high school football season here on Spanish Fork 17. And tonight we kick it off with the Olympus Titans from 5A taking on the Spanish Fork Dons, who have now moved to Class 4A for this next cycle of alignment in the state of Utah. Great to be with everybody. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, here we go again. A completely new season. You get new faces and everything with that. And boy, we started off here with Spanish Fork against Olympus, a tough 4A versus 5A matchup.
Yeah, this will be a tough test for Spanish Fork. Olympus last year finished 7-6. They're up a division, and Olympus, they are in a very tough region. I believe it's Region 6 with teams like East, West, and
Highland.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough region for Olympus, but they start off tonight against Spanish Fork, and for Spanish Fork, like you mentioned, they moved down to 4A. They're picked second right behind Provo in Region 8.
Spanish Fork coming in, maybe some question marks. This is a young Spanish Fork team that we've seen, but it really all starts with, you and I have talked about this many years, Chris, high school football, it starts with the quarterback play. Spanish Fork turning over the reins to junior McKay Smith. He got some time last year, but it's a lot different, kind of maybe splitting time or stepping in an injury situation, Chris, to now you're the guy.
Yeah, McKay Smith, he threw for about 272 yards last year, 1 touchdown, and really filled in for Will Dart admirably when he was injured. But yeah, should we hit the triple T keys to the game here, Ryan?
Yeah, let's take a look at them. And a couple of them, Chris, you talk about maybe some special keys tonight with it being the first game of the season.
Yeah, Spanish Fork is a young team, a lot of sophomores, juniors have never dressed before on the roster, so they need to avoid the first game jitters. Just go out there, play football. Coaches can't teach you everything, so you just have to go out there and play hard. Second key we've got is to win the battle in the trenches. Pretty generic key, however, very important for Spanish Fork to give Smith plenty of time to operate, and also, assuming Vest is going to be the running back, to blow some big holes open for Vest, and they can do that. They have Aaron Dunn. If you go look on some of the websites, he's the highest recruit for the 2025 class. And then the last key is it's always helpful if you can win the turnover battle. So that's our 3 keys of the game, brought to you by Triple T.
When you take a look at it, Chris, you mentioned Aaron Dunn, Tyler Brown also anchoring that offensive line. And that might be one of the biggest strengths of this Spanish Fork team is the offensive line. And that's big, like you mentioned, with Caden Vest. Tonight, not going to be easy. Olympus brings back 10 starters from a year ago. Especially, they bring back, I think, 3 up front on that defensive line. And so it's going to be a tough test tonight for the Spanish Fork Dons. Let's take a look here. We have a couple of minutes before we're ready to kick it off. We talked about maybe some new faces, some new regions. Let's take a look at those regions, Chris, because we've saw it about 3 or 4 years ago. Maple Mountain, Spanish Fork now split. So Spanish Fork stays with some familiar foes with Provo and Payson in there. Provo and Salem Hills, but they welcome in Timpanogos and Mountain View from Orem, and then they also welcome back Uinta.
Yeah, it's a tough region, and it's good to see Spanish Fork and Payson in the same region. That's a traditional rivalry that goes back decades and maybe a century ago. So, yeah, no, that should be a tough region. Very winnable for Spanish Fork. Provo was selected by coaches to win that region.
Maple Mountain, Drew, probably maybe one of the more shorter straws in the region, Chris. Not just you have to compete against Springville, that's good every year, but now you throw in Orem and Timpview and an always tough Wasatch, and you welcome in Cedar Valley.
That is a pretty tough region, and Maple Mountain's going to struggle to get wins, so they're going to have to. New coach this year with Kalen Hall, they're going to have to play mistake-free football and see what kind of identity they can establish this year.
So we're set and ready to go. Olympus will get the football first. Luke Bryant, number 1, back deep. He's to the bottom of your screen. He's joined by Jack Reed to the top of your screen. Kicking it off for Spanish Fork will be number 12, Benji Vargas. And boy, we are just moments away here from the start of the 2023 high school football season. Springville's already kicked off. They were beating Dixie from Class 4A 19-0. That one at the half. Vargas has the ball teed up. The sun has gone behind the clouds, giving a cool feel here for a first couple of minutes. Other than that, we're in the upper 80s to low 90s at kickoff, and Vargas is set and ready to go. The whistle blows, and the 2023 high school football season is now underway, and this one will go deep and will be returned by Bryant from the 1. He gets across the 10 to the 15-yard line, and he's going to be brought down and tackled there on the return. A nice job right there to keep Olympus inside their own 20. Just underway here. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Titans.
I think that might have been either Beckstead or Micah Henderson on special teams making that tackle there on the far side, but Olympus doesn't start with great field position here at their own 15. They got a long ways to go.
The Titans are led by senior quarterback Chase Mosley. Threw for over 1,600 yards last year, 17 touchdowns to only 8 INTs. They'll go 5 wide on 1st and 10. Mosley throws it in the slot out to number 11. That is complete to Nick Brown. You'll see Brown line up in a couple of different spots, including tailback tonight for Olympus.
Yeah, Olympus going fast here. They spread Spanish Fork out with 5 guys, put that receiver in the slot, running back in the slot, and he makes the catch.
2nd down and about 3 coming up. You now see Brown in the backfield with Mosley. He gets the carry right up the middle, and he is met and brought down by Aaron Dunn, number 79, getting there from the defensive tackle spot, Chris. And you have to think about a night like tonight, you're going to need Aaron Dunn to make a few of those plays.
You are, absolutely, and he is a big guy to bring down. Got low that time and brings up a 3rd and about 2 here. We'll see. Looks like Olympus is going to spread him out. Look for a quarterback draw here or a quick pass to that slot.
Back to throw. Mosley is going to put it in the air. It's complete to Brown again. He gets the 28-yard line. That's good enough for a Titans 1st down.
And Brown just lines up in the slot position that time from his running back spot and just does a little 5-yard out. And easy pickings there for Mosley.
Spanish Fork bringing in. There's no safety coverage right now, really deep over the top. So watch out to see if Olympus takes a shot sometime here.
And they're playing man-to-man with no safety, cover 0.
That one goes in and out of the hands right there of number 14. And that was almost intercepted right there. Ryan Olson, number 3, almost got his mitts on that one there. And that would have been a big turnover right there. I don't have a number 14 on my roster for Olympus, so I apologize.
There's 2 number 10s on mine, so maybe it's one of those guys.
2nd down and 10. Early in the season, rosters can be always fun to kind of figure out. 2nd and 10, Mosley back to throw. He's going to take a shot deep, looking down. He's got a man there, but Olson reached out, and there's a late penalty flag that came in. Chris, I think they're going to get pass interference.
I wonder if they're going to say that's uncatchable. The officials are coming to talk about it, but definitely a hold. Could have been called on Ryan Olson on that corner.
The back judge threw the flag, and the side judge immediately started running in, so I think there is going to be a conversation right here. The back judge came up, explained some rules before the contest here, and it's going to be pass interference indicated against the Dons, and that will be a 1st down for Olympus. 10:44 to go, opening quarter, opening drive of the season for Olympus.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call because Ryan Olson did impede the receiver's ability to try and make a play on that ball.
I saw him reach out, and I was surprised there wasn't a flag early on. Mosley back to throw. Throws towards the sideline. 14 comes back, has the catch. Ryan Olson right there. But I believe it's going to be enough for a Olympus 1st down, and they're into Spanish Fork territory at the 46.5-yard line.
And Olympus has picked up now 3 1st downs on this drive. 2 through the air and 1 via penalty, and now they're on plus side of the field.
Mosley throws quick down in the seam, has it, and that is complete out right now to Ty Siegel, number 2, another kind of running back, defensive back combination for Olympus, and it's again another Titans 1st down.
Yeah, great read by Mosley. He saw the pressure coming and he had to get rid of that quick. Finds Siegel, Just running a little slant. And another first down for Olympus.
Mosley ready to throw, stops, takes a shot in the middle, has a man out there. That's Siegel inside the 10-yard line. He hauls it in. They'll mark him down at the 8, and there we see Olympus kind of take their second shot of the game, but this is the first time where they were able to connect.
Oh, that was a great pass through it, right between Toppin and Manga, the two defenders, and about the only spot that ball can be. Mosley's definitely showing some accuracy here this evening.
So Titans in the red zone. In fact, inside the 10, it's first and goal from the 8. 9:40 to play, opening quarter. Mosley takes the snap, tries to get it out. It may have been tipped. Brown does make the catch, but it will slow his momentum to only a couple of yards. I say it may have been tipped because it looked like if it wasn't, it was very close to being tipped right there at the line of scrimmage.
I think Dunn got a finger on it because it looked like the ball started spinning a little bit different, but not enough to bat it down. And second down and goal from the 6 here. Spanish Fork has had little resistance on this drive, but no time like the present in the red zone to get a stop.
Ready to go, second and goal from the 6. Direct snap, it's pulled down and hauled in by Luke Bryant, number 1. And that high snap right there could have been disastrous for Olympus. Would have been a big break for the Dons. But nonetheless, Chris, the high snap affects the play, and now it's third down and goal.
A tackle for loss by Aaron Dunn there, third and goal. Olympus doesn't want to have to settle for a field goal here, and we don't know what their kicking situation is. Maybe this is 4-down territory.
8:34. They've had a great drive. The Titans really don't want this to end in anything other than a touchdown. Spanish Fork looking to come up with a big drive. There's almost a fumble again. Mosley gets it away and pitches it off to number 22 at the last minute. Did he get in? It's going to be down at the 1. That's Nate Sheets. Spanish Fork came away with the ball at the end, but I think that's probably looks like they're going to rule him down. It's going to be 4th and 1 from the 1. So, Chris, here you go. 4th and goal, first drive of the season. The Dons defense a chance to hold Olympus after a great Titan drive.
And Spanish Fork's not quite ready.
Mosley right up the middle, and I don't know. I don't think he got in, Chris. He is, I think, stuck. Getting there. I'm trying to think who was the first one there. Spanish Fork went a little bit bigger with some linebackers there.
Yeah, Olympus goes 84 yards and gets no points on the opening drive. Great goal line stand. I couldn't see. There was too many bodies in the way, but great job by that interior defense of Spanish Fork. And really Dunn, you see him, he's pushing guys into the backfield. He's really progressed from, I guess, offense only now to playing on defense.
So 1st and 10, Spanish Fork. Their first drive of the year. They'll start at their own 1-yard line. 99 yards to go for a touchdown. McKay Smith ready to go. Joined by Caden Vest in the backfield. And they'll go play action over the middle. That ball's almost tipped. And it goes incomplete, looking to try to get it out to Tyson Mansfield, a senior tight end and safety right there. Had the seam, Chris. That's exactly what you want. You just have to be careful with that linebacker lurking.
Yeah, and that was just the timing there by Olympus. Disrupting that pass was just enough to where McKay couldn't throw it where he wanted to.
2nd and 10 for Spanish Fork right here. Back to throw. Smith being chased now from behind, and that one's going to be incomplete. Ryan Olson, the intended wide receiver, and it's going to bring up 3rd and long from about the half-yard line, Chris, here if you're Spanish Fork.
And if you're Spanish Fork, you might want to run it just to see if you can get a few yards here, because that's a pretty miserable place to punt from.
There's a lot of dangerous things that can happen when you punt from back there. Even as a quarterback, when you do that rollout like McKay Smith did a minute ago, you have to watch your back foot, Chris, that it doesn't hit that back line.
Yeah, we've seen that plenty of times, and that's 2 points for the other team.
3rd down and 10 coming up. 7:42 to go, opening quarter. Smith back to throw. Looking, has a man. That one incomplete, almost intercepted. As on the other side, it was Jack Evans who was almost there for Olympus. It will be a 3 and out for Spanish Fork, and they will punt with number 14, Josh Cook, the senior. He will punt right now to number 1. That is senior Luke Bryant back deep for Olympus.
And not very much room for Cook to operate.
Good field position most likely coming here for Olympus. Cook gets the punt away. Bryant will step away from it. It takes a sideways bounce right around the 32-yard line. It's going to set Olympus up in Spanish Fork territory at the 32-yard line here with 7:30 to play in the opening quarter. Let's take a moment. Let's thank our sponsors here on Spanish Fork 17 for making tonight's broadcast possible. We want to thank Triple T, Two Jacks Pizza, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, and MVP Sports. We thank you for making these broadcasts possible each and every Friday night. We want to welcome those watching on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. Titans ready to go. 1st and 10 from the Spanish Fork 32, and penalty flags fly. This is probably a procedure.
Too many people moving before the snap, which is
first week of the season, sometimes you're a little antsy, right, to get going?
Yeah, absolutely. And Olympus gets a penalty there, moves them back 5 yards. But on that first drive, they were pretty crisp in their passing game. They just got down in there to the red zone, and they had a little bit of trouble with the center to quarterback exchange. A couple of bobbled snaps there, and that's really probably what cost them the 6 points.
7 starters returning on this Olympus offense, and there's a screen pass that goes incomplete, trying to get it out to Luke Bryant. A nice job there by, I believe that was Eli Maga, number 7, getting there immediately and just made a great read on that play.
And Maga, great timing. If that ball's thrown any later, Maga might be running in for 6 right now. He's playing that, I can't tell which one's the free safety and strong safety because they're playing a lot about the same depth.
Moving around now, being pressured, kind of flips the ball out. It's going to be incomplete right there. No receiver really in the vicinity, but I think the ball may have gotten tipped. Nonetheless, it will bring up 3rd and 15.
And Spanish Fork's defense has made some adjustments. They were playing a lot of man-to-man defense, and they've kind of switched it to where they're playing a little bit more zone and not allowing Olympus to throw that quick pass and get 7 or 8 yards.
3rd down and 15 from the 37-yard line. Back to throw, screen pass. They get it out. Here's Brown, and he is brought down right around the line of scrimmage. Number 53, Kale Cabreros getting there from his linebacker spot. The junior makes the tackle, and that's a great play and a great tackle in the open field.
Yeah, great tackle. You might want to wrap up, but besides that, he brought him down.
So it's going to be 4th down, and Olympus is lining up, giving a look like they may take about a 47-yard field goal try right here.
This is 54 yards.
Yes. Number 90.
Wow.
I'm looking to see here. I believe
it's not in my. Is it?
And that kick is up, Beckstead? And it's going to be just short. He just missed it from 54 yards.
Did he hit the crossbar there?
Nonetheless, that's an impressive kick right there.
I've got the wall, and so I didn't see it.
It just went short from what I could see here. So a nice job by the Spanish Fork defense. That's twice they've been backed up in a tough spot defensively, and they found a way to make sure to get the stop that they need right here.
And if you're Olympus, why not make that field goal attempt? Because now Spanish Fork gets it at the 20.
You don't really, I mean, if you
only
punt,
lose, yeah.
It kind of puts you in a tough spot. That's a tough punt for a punter to try to just put it in inside the 10. Nonetheless, right here, Dons get the football at their own 20-yard line. 7:12 to play, opening quarter here on Spanish Fork 17. The Dons went 3 and out on their opening drive. We'll see what they do here. And it's going to start, I believe, with a timeout called by Spanish Fork. First timeout of the ball game here. First charge to the Dons. right there. Next Friday night, we'll have another high school football game for you, a 7 p.m. kickoff over at Maple Mountain High School, Chris, and this is going to be a fun one. Spanish Fork, Maple Mountain, crosstown rivalry. They've been in the same region for the last few years, but now they shift to different regions, but there's still going to be that excitement and that that excitement of fun of a crosstown rivalry.
Yeah, and the kids will be back in school next week, so we should have quite a few people in the stands for both teams. And it'll be a lot of energy. If you can't make it to Maple Mountain, make sure to tune in here on Spanish Fork Cable Network or on YouTube.
So 1st and 10 for the Dons at their own 20-yard line. 7:12 to play, first quarter. No score between Spanish Fork and Olympus. And they'll put it on the ground there. Looked like they were going to try to throw it. It is Brock Jacobson with it, number 21. He was highlighted by head coach Dustin Smith in the Deseret News preview of being one of the newcomers to watch. And Chris, it looked like he was wanting to throw this football.
Wanted to throw it, nothing there. Puts his head down, gets 4 or 5 yards, and that's the first 4 yards Spanish Fork has on the season.
So right now it will bring up a second about 5 for the Dons. 15 on the play clock for Spanish Fork. We'll see if we might see our first rush from Caden Vest here on this drive.
As a sophomore, he toted the ball for over 100 yards last year.
They'll fake it to him, get it out to Jacobson, number 21, incomplete, immediately called right there by our official. Well, maybe a split second late, but bring up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, I'm like, that hit the ground, and Jacobson's running. Late whistle for sure. 3rd and 4 here, and if you're Spanish Fork, your defense has been on the field pretty much the entire game. It would be very helpful for your time of possession here if you could pick one up.
Especially with how warm it's been today. We'll see if cramping starts to become an issue at some point here this evening. 3rd and 5 from their own 25. Smith, play action, steps up. Now he's going to try to run. He's going to slide just short of the marker. He got to the 29 and went down before taking the hit. A smart move for a quarterback to do, Chris, that slide right there.
Yeah, just 1 yard short there, and a really good job by that Olympus secondary recognizing Smith was going to run.
Right there, Spanish Fork, hurry up. Timeout called by Olympus. The Dons were ready to line up and go for it on 4th and 1, but the Titans will take their first timeout here with 5:58 to play in the opening quarter, and this will bring up a punt. Well, maybe a punt situation for Spanish Fork. We'll see if head coach Dustin Smith, in his 4th year at the helm of the Dons, will try and see if he'll, maybe roll the dice here from his own 29.
Well, I think he was trying to catch him off guard there. Olympus uses their second. All right, was it Spanish Fork that called the timeout? My bad. Spanish Fork calls the timeout there, so maybe they didn't see what they wanted out of that, and so Smith called the timeout to get out of it. I imagine they're going to punt here.
I wouldn't think this early on in the season and this early on in the game, I don't know if I would take a chance here. Luke Bryant, who's been returning the punts for Olympus, is on the field, and it looks like we're going to see the offense come out. So I don't know if they may try hard count here. I don't know if maybe they'll go quarterback sneak. This will be an interesting play. 4th and 1 for Spanish Fork.
3 running backs are close to the line.
Smith goes right up the middle. They're going to try to push him across. It looks like he's got it to about the 30.5-yard line. So it looks like it'll be a first down for the Dons there on the McKay Smith quarterback keeper.
Yeah, nothing ventured, nothing gained in life. Spanish Fork takes a chance there, and it pays off with a first down.
Now, we saw Spanish Fork, sometimes their offense, Chris, move the ball the best last year. Obviously when they were able to get first downs, but really when they found a way to really be able to establish the running game.
Yeah, Joshua Buck had a huge season last year. And really, once he got going, that opened up the passing game. So we'll see if they can't get Vest going here.
There's a fumble in the backfield, and Olympus is on it at about the 27-yard line. A bad exchange between Smith and Olsen leads to our first turnover, and Olympus has the football right now at around, it's going to be inside the 25. They're going to mark it right around the 26-yard line, it looks like. 26-27.
Yeah, and just looked like the timing was a little bit off. Ryan Olsen might have been ahead of the handoff that time. Or maybe didn't even think he was supposed to grab it. I don't know.
So 1st and 10 Titans from the Spanish 427. Back to throw. Mosley has a man out there. That's Brown, who gets tripped up right there by Brock Jacobson, but not before picking up about 6 or 7.
Yeah, quick pass. Mosley takes 1-2 steps back and just unloads that ball. Olympus is not messing around with Mosley getting rid of that ball quickly.
Second and 3 from their own 20. From the Spanish 420 for Olympus. Mosley ready to go. Brown in the backfield. It will be Mosley, gets it out to Luke Evans, and Evans is going to get initially hit and tackled by Bronson Kaluli, but then he's right there for nothing. In fact, he may have lost a little bit. It's going to bring up a big 3rd and 3.
Yeah, they were trying to run a screen to that outside, and Kaluli beats his blocker and disrupts that play. So great job playing on that edge there from his safety position.
Ready to go right here, big 3rd and 3, and penalty flags fly. Spanish Fork immediately pointing. I think we're going to have a procedure call here, Chris, and that's going to push Olympus back 5.
Yeah. Elias Neula for Spanish Fork moved a little bit, and the Olympus guy moved back.
Make it 3rd and 8, and there's a big difference right now on the play calling sheet for Olympus from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. We know their kicker has the leg, so they're in field goal range right now. 3rd and 8. Back to throw. Mosley gets it out quick, has a man that's caught. Trying to leap for the first down is number 13. That's Nash Taylor. But Taylor's going to be a couple of yards short. I think his knee went down before the stretch.
Olympus definitely in field goal range here, but it looks like they want to go for 7 or 6, then 7.
3:37 to play here in the first quarter.
Ryan, I promise this isn't my first football game I've ever watched.
Chris, we've been doing this 8 years together. I know it's not your first football game, but the first game of this year, so, you know, we'll get the jitters out, Chris. Don't worry. Mosley to throw. That one is high and incomplete. Intended for Luke Evans. It will be a turnover on downs for Olympus, and the ball goes back to the Spanish Fork Dons right here with 3:21 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, great job on that 4th down by that defensive line. Those interior guys really forcing Mosley to throw that before he wanted to. And we'll see if Spanish Fork can get something going here on offense. They picked up the first down on 4th and 1 at the 30 there and just fumbled the next play. So really, Spanish Fork, I think, has only ran 8 offensive plays with 1 turnover so far.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 19-yard line. McKay Smith will go under center. Vest is the deep back, and they'll just give it to Caden Vest on first down. Vest able to get about 3 or so on first down, depending on the spot. So a nice pickup right there from Caden Vest.
Yeah, they line up in that kind of Maryland eye. There's 2 guys, but a fullback back there, and they get 3 or 4 yards there. Spanish Fork came out throwing the ball like crazy. That last possession, they ran it a little more. I don't think Smith's completed a pass yet. There they go again in the I formation.
Vest last year, 54 carries, 151 yards, and 3 TDs. Smith rolling out, looking for his receiver. Sliding is Ryan Olsen, number 3, and he'll make the catch at the 35-yard line, and Spanish Fork has a first down.
Yeah, Olsen helps his quarterback out there by coming back to the ball and making a big catch, and Spanish Fork gets another first down.
And really, I mean, the biggest thing for Spanish Fork, Chris, like you talked about, that defense has been on the field majority of the first quarter. We've had really one sustained drive in the game. Most of it's been three and out or 4 and out. And now it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 35 for Spanish Fork. Here's Caden Vest right up the middle again, and he'll get to right around the 40, so he'll pick up 5 there on 1st down.
A great job by that fullback picking up the linebacker, just adding to the hole the offensive line made, and Vest follows his blockers. They had a steam and gets 5 yards. Now, Spanish Fork, I think if they can run it here, that'll open up the pass and go play action later on. I like this black on red look Spanish Fork's got on this first game as well.
New uniforms, I believe, this year for the Dons, especially in the tops with the white and the gray outline. They'll give it right up the middle again to Caden Vest, and he'll get as far as the 49-yard line, so another pickup, or sorry, the 44-yard line, and pick up of 4 more yards to make it 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1, I would go back to that quarterback sneak. It looks similar to what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl last year, where they line up everybody close, and McKay Smith has the decision of which hole to go to. Maybe they're saving that for 4th down if they need it.
So we'll see here, 3rd and 1 from the 44-yard line. Here's Jacobson on the reverse, and he has brought down Gabe Johnson, the senior defensive end. He had 40 tackles and 6 for a loss last season, and he picks up his 1st this year, and that will make it 4th and about 6.
Johnson wearing number 0, that is the first high school player I've seen wearing number 0, and he makes a great play there.
Back into punt, Josh Cook. Luke Evans, number 1, back deep to receive for Olympus. Cook drops the snap, picks it back up, has time, and gets a good punt off. It's away from Evans, and it will be down right around the 30-yard line of Olympus. So that's tough to drop the snap, pick it back up, Chris, and stay composed to get the punt off.
Yeah, there is no illegal man downfield at the high school level. That just allowed the defenders to get down there, and Luke Bryant was like, there's no way I'm picking that up.
Couple scores from the region so far. Payson leading Maple Mountain 7-0. That one in the first quarter. Over on the other side of town, Provo leading Grantsville up north 14-0. Those both in the first quarter right there. We'll try to pass along some scores as we go throughout the evening. So 1st and 10 coming up right here. They'll throw it into the seam, and that is complete out to number 2. That again is Siegel on the catch. Ty Siegel, a 5'10 senior. And that will end the first quarter. We've reached the end of one from Don Stadium. No score between Olympus and Spanish Fork. We'll take a short break. Quarter number 2 coming up after the break on Spanish Fork 17.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Start of the second quarter here on Spanish Fork 17. Ryan Pickens and Chris Hurst, as we have no score between the Olympus Titans and the Spanish Fork Dons as we get ready to start quarter number 2. Titans right now with the football and driving. They'll be in a 2nd down and 2. And Chris, it's good to be back in the booth.
It is. Great night for high school football. August 11th, 2023. Let's go.
As we get ready to go, it will be these next 10 weeks will go by extremely fast nonetheless, and we'll have a game almost every week through the rest of the season, I believe. At least that's what we have scheduled.
And Spanish Fork defense has been coming up with some big stops on 4th down.
Pressure comes. They get it out to Siegel. The question is, did he get across the 40? It looks like they're going to mark him short of the first down. Siegel, I think, pleading his case with the far official there, but it's going to bring up 3rd and about 1.
Yeah, Siegel was just, I mean, that's about as close as you can get. They gave him the half-yard line there. The other line judge is coming in. Are they going to?
They're moving it back. They move it back maybe half a football or so.
Watch for a quarterback sneak here. They're going fast.
Right up to the line. They just kind of overload right here. Mosley under center. He takes the keeper.
He doesn't get it.
He now tries to bounce it outside, and the Dons are there. It was Ethan Beckstead and I believe Brock Jacobson both there. And now we'll kind of see here. They're going to mark him back about a 2-yard loss right there, and that's going to make it 4th down and about 2. We'll see what first-year head coach Brandon Burt decides to do.
Well, and that was a great play by the interior there. Number 75 for Spanish Fork, Ott. 5'9", 316. He just got down there low and refused to let anybody by him.
So they will go back to punt, and I believe the punter on the field is Chase Mosley. So running back deep to return for Spanish Fork will be number 7, Eli Maga. So we'll see right here, Olympus Lake getting the last man on the field. And now you have to always watch for the quarterback punting for some kind of fake, but Mosley will do the punting here. Punts it away from Maga. It takes a nice Olympus bounce and rolls right now down to about the 20-yard line or so. A great punt right there from Chase Mosley, and it'll be 1st and 10 Spanish Fork from their own 20.
Spanish Fork needs to see if they can flip the field position again here, or maybe get some points. But yeah, both defenses playing well. Spanish Fork's defense bending a little bit on that first drive, but not breaking. But after that, it's been an epic defensive battle thus far.
I wasn't gonna think I wasn't gonna think first week of the season, 10:06 to go, we would have a no-score game here in the second quarter. I thought one team would have scored in the first. Yeah,
for sure, and that's what usually happens. But it looks like the defenses might be a little bit ahead of the offenses for both these programs so far.
McKay Smith at quarterback, gives it to Caden Vest on first down. Vest goes ahead. He'll get about 3 or so on first down. And a nice job here. And I think this is a smart move by Spanish Fork, Chris, just to kind of mix in the run a little bit and try to get a little more balance, because I think their first 4 or 5 plays were thrown through the air.
Yeah, for sure. And Olympus's line, led by Leota on that last play, really made it tough to run there. And it didn't look like Vest was going to get very far, and then he ends up getting 3 or 4 yards. Vest always seems to be falling forward after contact, which gets you an extra yard or 2.
Smith back to throw, looking, puts it behind his intended receiver. Trevin Davies was the intended receiver, and right there, Olympus almost picking up an INT, as it was John Workman, John Workman, number 10, who was in the vicinity, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and 7.
That was a dangerous play, and Spanish Fork already has the fumble down in their own side of the field and didn't have any damage that time, but you want to avoid making a habit of that.
3rd and 7 coming up.
This Olympus defense has been tough tonight.
Smith back to throw, being chased. Now he's going to step up. He has to run for it, and he's going to be pulled down from behind right there. Number 50.
Frazier.
Getting there, Frazier on the stop. It's going to bring up 4th and about 3, and a punting situation here for Spanish Fork. And so back on is Josh Cook. And you just kind of get the feeling, Chris, special teams is going to have to, one of the two sides, special teams or defense, is going to have to make a big enough play to maybe put some points on the board.
Yeah, and that's what it could come down to in these tight games, just one play, whether it's on special teams or a big offensive play.
Evans going to kick it away. Evans back to receive. He drops it at the 40, picks it back up. There's a flag down on the play. Evans into Spanish Fork territory down to about the 40. At least I thought I saw a flag. It looks like I did see the flag come in. As Cook got a little more pressure there with that punt.
Yeah, Olympus blitzed a little bit more that time on the punt. They went for the block, but great job by Bryant. It's a sideline warning. Good job by Bryant. He bobbled that, but he picked it up and got quite a few yards to get on down to the 40 there for Olympus. And Olympus, I believe this is the third time they've started on the plus side of the field. They drove it down and clear down to the 84-yard drive, and they came away with no points. They haven't been able to do anything since, and Spanish Fork has given them excellent field position.
1st and 10 from the Spanish Fork 40 right now for Olympus. Mosley joined in the backfield by tailback Nick Brown. Right up the middle, Mosley on the keeper, reaches ahead. Cabreros is going to make the tackle for Spanish Fork, but Mosley gets the 36-yard line with 8:24 to play here in the opening quarter.
And for Olympus, they have been throwing the ball constantly. It might help here to change it up a little bit and see if they can't wear Spanish Fork out by running the ball a little bit.
2nd and 6 right now on the Spanish Fork 36-yard line. 4 wide receivers right now for Olympus. Mosley back to throw, tries to set up the screen pass, gets it out to Nick Brown, but nothing going on. Once again, Cabreros and Beckstead Jacobson over there. I think also Topham getting there from a safety spot.
A great job there by Johnson. And you're right, that is Cabreros with the tackle there and brings up another big 3rd down here.
3rd and 5 from the 35-yard line right here. Probably 2-down territory here for the Titans.
Imagine they'll probably give it to Brown here.
Boy, it looks like Olympus may have gotten away with a jump early. Brown has the carry, has a first down for now. A late penalty flag comes in when Brown gets down to the 29-yard line. Brown last year ran for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, averaging over 4 yards a carry.
Looks like, was that a face mask?
The officials are talking about it right here. Well, face mask against Spanish Fork.
So it's a 5-yard variety, unintentional.
So it's going to move the ball now down to the 24-yard line right here. 7:15 to play, opening quarter. Sorry, not opening quarter, second quarter.
It's a long quarter.
Mosley back to throw, looking, has a receiver in the flat, takes a shot deep, has a man out there. It's juggled, but it's going to go incomplete. Looking out there for number 14, but Ryan Olson right there in one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, and we don't have a name for number 14, but agent number 14 out there. It looked like that ball kind of drifted out of bounds, and that would have been a very difficult catch to make and stay in bounds.
But they got to credit right there, Chase Mosley. He put that in one spot where only his receiver was going to get it or it was going to be out of bounds.
You got to take those shots, especially in these close games where neither team seems to be getting the offense rolling.
2nd and 10, they throw it in the slot. That's Siegel on the catch, and he's down to about the 17-yard line. So a good pickup there on 2nd and 10 and makes it 3rd and short. And that's really what Olympus has tried to do, Chris, is keep those 3rd downs in 3rd and manageable situations and just kind of set themselves up to either go for it on 4th down, kick a field goal, or if they have to punt, they have to punt.
Yeah, and the way they've been going here, you can see them playing with a little bit more confidence on this drive.
Back to throw, throws the slant, has a receiver, that's Luke Bryant, and nope, that's number 14 for a Olympus touchdown, and the Titans are on the board right now with a 6-0 lead.
About a 19-yard pass, I believe, that time for 6 points, and Olympus gets the first touchdown in this ball game.
Just a one-on-one slant route, and 14 was able to get the inside leverage there for the touchdown. Number 99 on for the kick. I apologize, I don't have a number 99 here on my roster. as the kick is up and it is good. So 6:22 to play here in the second quarter, and Olympus leading Spanish Fork 7-0 right here on Spanish Fork 17. Let's take a moment and thank our sponsors for making each and every broadcast possible this season.
Yeah, we got Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jack's Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We'd like to thank these sponsors for making tonight's broadcast and our future broadcast possible this season. And also, you can catch our games on YouTube TV with, there you go, youtube.com/Spanish Fork 17, and of course on Spanish Fork Cable Network. And next week, in the Battle of the Fork, we'll be up at Maple Mountain, where Spanish Fork will be making that short trek up the hill. And that should be a very fun and intense game. That's quite the rivalry when we get those 2 crosstown teams together.
5A versus 4A, which will be a big game for both schools in the RPI. And, you know, that's one thing with Spanish Fork. You talk about, you know, before Utah put the RPI system in, the region games was the big key, but now with the RPI, Chris, this is a big game for both teams.
Yeah, I remember when Spanish Fork was the 5A team a few years ago, and Maple Mountain was the 4A team.
Jacobson on the return from about the 4-yard line. Gets across the 20, has a quick seam, but it quickly closes as Jacobson gets to about the 26-yard line. So we'll see here if the Spanish Fork Dons offense can respond after Olympus taking a 7-0 lead on their last drive. And we'll see here what McKay Smith can come out with here with the Spanish Fork offense.
I think McKay Smith just maybe has a little first game jitters there. Just doesn't seem like he quite has it yet. I think if he could get a couple of completions here, get some confidence going, I think the game will open up here for this Spanish Fork offense.
Caden Vest in the backfield here with McKay Smith. And they'll give it to Vest out of the backfield. He makes a cut, cuts back, still on his feet, lunges ahead, and I think he's going to have 11.5 and enough for a Spanish Fork first down.
That was a great run by Vest. He was patient to follow his blockers, and then once he saw that seam, he took it. And Olympus defense has been playing really tough here. We'll see if Spanish Fork can. I don't think they've been on the other side of the 50 yet.
Yeah, I don't think they have. They've been backed up in their own territory, and it's been some 3-and-outs for him as Smith will throw this one out to Ryan Olson on this kind of the bubble screen, and Olson will go ahead for a couple of yards to about the 41, and that will make it 2nd and 8 for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, and that was well defended on the outside by Max Rice and Jack Evans for Olympus.
2nd and 8 coming up from their own 41. 2 timeouts and 5:39 to play before halftime. They go right back to it with Ryan Olson, and Olson gets across the 45 to the 46, so a short 5-yard pickup. But, Chris, you talk about it, 3rd and manageable. You're now in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 territory. There's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah, and we've seen that Coach Smith isn't afraid to go for it on 4th down, so maybe even take a shot deep here while the Titans aren't expecting it.
3 wide receivers right now on the play. Will Gunter goes in motion right up the middle. There's a first down to the 42-yard line of Olympus. Caden Vest sneaks through there, kind of breaks his first run of the night, and it's a first down for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, great run there by Vest. He's been kind of leading the charge on this drive, and Spanish Fork's on the plus side of the field here. See if they can answer before the half. This quarter's gone by pretty fast.
4:43 to go here before halftime. We'll have the halftime festivities for you here from Dawn Stadium. Recap our first half. Take a look at some Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing keys to the game. McKay Smith back to throw with some time. Pump fakes now, looking for some pressure. Gets rid of it at the last minute as he gets hit. Believe it was number 49 getting there for Olympus. Applying the pressure was Thomas Maga, one of their projected newcomers.
Bring up third and
second
10.
So we'll see what they do right here. 2nd and 10 from the 42. Olympus just kind of bringing pressure there. They pressure Smith again. Here's Will Gunter. Gunter out, and he gets wrapped up, spins out of a tackle, has a first down to about the 30-yard line or so. A nice job right there with a little screen, a little tight end bubble screen right there.
Yeah, so Spanish Fork gets Olympus going to your near side of the screen with all the motion that way, and Smith throws it back to that wide side of the field, and great spin move by Will Gunter there. Picks up the first with the second effort.
Gunter, 3 catches for 26 yards a year ago. We saw him a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball for Spanish Fork last year. 30 tackles at the defensive back spot. Right up the middle, here is Vest. He's inside the 30, down to about the 26. And this is the thing, Chris, you're starting to see a little more fluid offense from Spanish Fork, and it has started with Caden Vest being able to pick up 3, 4, sometimes 5 yards on a carry.
Yeah, and at the first of this game, Spanish Fork was struggling to run, but you've seen that offensive line kind of lean on Olympus a little bit, and they've got some hands on their hips at the moment. So I think this will also open up some of that play action passing.
2nd down and 10 from the 27-yard line. Play action. Smith looking to throw, takes a shot, has a man out there. Incomplete, in and out of the hands right there. Bronson Kaluli, the intended receiver.
And that would have been a great catch if Kalula would have been able to hang on to that. However, he was heavily guarded that time, but Smith put it in the one spot he could, considering Kalula was double covered that time.
So 3rd and 6 from the 27-yard line. Ready to go right here. 3:08 to go here in the second quarter. Smith rolls to the bottom of your screen. Looking, still looking. Throws to the last minute. Incomplete right there. Olympus downfield coverage was very good right there. Ryan Olson, the intended receiver, and that makes it 4th down and 6.
4th and 6. Spanish Fork's not bringing on the field goal unit here, so it looks like they'll try and get this one most likely through the air. We've seen quite a few 4th down stops by both defenses here tonight.
So 4th down and 6, ball on the 27-yard line, and I think we're going to have a timeout called right here. Timeout called by Olympus. That's their second of the half. They have 1 remaining here for 3:01 to go, or with 3 minutes and a second left before halftime. And Chris, a good time for a timeout if you're Olympus. You have a 7-0 lead. It looks like points tonight's going to be at a premium with the way both defenses are playing. And so you want to make sure you have the right play call right here to get the ball back.
Yeah, for sure. You can regroup, let your guys rest here. On the other side, it does allow Spanish Fork to draw up a play and kind of decide what they want to do here on 4th and 6. But yeah, this has by far been Spanish Fork's best drive of the evening, and we've seen it mostly through the ground with Vest. He's done a great job, and then that big catch by Gunter as well. Catch and run.
So Chris, let's play offensive coordinator here. What do you draw up if you're head coach Justin Smith?
I am just going to allow Smith to either roll out here, get it through the air if he can. If not, use his legs to see if he can pick up the first down. That gives you 2 options to get it.
4th and 6, they'll kind of go reverse. Olson looking to throw, now being pressured, throws at the last minute, incomplete pass, and it will bring up a 4th down. Or sorry, it will be a turnover on downs, and Olympus gets the football back with 2:55 to play and 1 timeout. So a little early on, you're going to see some 2-minute drill from Olympus.
Yeah, and on that last play, great job by Olympus pursuing Olson on the ball, but that receiver was covered on the backside of that. That play was doomed.
About the only thing you potentially could have done, and I mean, and it's always risky. Is the only thing you could have done is throw back to the quarterback on the other side of the field. But anytime you're throwing across the field, that's a very dangerous throw.
I think you'll live with the turnover on downs there.
So first down and 10 coming up for Olympus. 2:55 to play here in the second quarter. Titans with the football. Mosley mishandles the snap, picks it back up, and takes off. He'll make something there out of that play to at least get 3 or 4 yards back to about the 30, and they may, Chris, even give him the 31, it looks like. But boy, right there, a couple of times here in the first half, Olympus has had a bad snap or a fumble, and they've gotten lucky so far that they've been able to recover.
Yeah, Mosley and number 75, the center, who I don't have on the roster with the name, have really struggled with that exchange tonight. That one was low, too.
Mosley takes a shot down the sidelines, looking for Evans. That one incomplete. Evans, I think, wanting, as he walks over, he'll grab, or sorry, that was number 14 again, to the top of your screen.
Did you see that throw? He just sidearmed that, Mosley did that time.
That's the way, I mean, his throwing motion has been pretty much kind of from the side instead of kind of up over the top with a shoulder that you would generally see. But a big 3rd and 6 coming up here for Spanish Fork. A stop here, they could potentially get the football right back.
And Spanish Fork has 2 timeouts to use as well.
Pressure coming. Mosley on the run, throws back, and it's going to be caught. That is to number 13. That is Nash Taylor. He's on the catch and the first down. So with 2:13 to play before halftime, Olympus will move the football.
And if you're Olympus, you want to keep progressing forward, but probably use up most of that clock. And if you can go up double digits at the half, that might be insurmountable the way Spanish Fork's offense has struggled so far.
One timeout to go here for the Titans. Mosley back to throw, has a man out there. That's complete. First down. That's Siegel again. Sorry, not a first down, but he's going to pick up about 8, and it's going to be 2nd and about 2 coming up right there as Ty Siegel on the catch.
And great play design there, just allowing Siegel to get out in the flat, and he picks up a few after contact.
Clock running, minute 45 to play here before halftime. Back to throw, Mosley again, just a 3-step drop, gets it out immediately, and that is complete again to Nash Taylor, and that's going to be good enough for a first down. They'll put the ball at the 41-yard line. Olympus going fast.
That was a great pass by Mosley because Gunter, he was in great position, and that ball just went where it had to go.
Clock running now, right now, and so far Olympus, Chris, they're not too worried right now with the clock with a minute 17. Mosley back to throw, thought about throwing it, now sidearms it, has a completion. That again is, I believe, Siegel down right around the marker. In fact, he's going to get it at the 30.5-yard line. A nice job there by Ty Siegel.
And the clock stops with the first down here. Oh, they're saying it's 2nd down. He got out of bounds, though, to stop the clock.
He only picked up 8. It looked like, I thought at first they were going to say it was a first down. My mistake.
And the clock's running, so he didn't get out of bounds.
1:02 to play here before halftime. Mosley pressured, gets hit, throws up a 50-50 ball. 14 has it for an Olympus touchdown, and it is 13-0 Titans here with 54 seconds to go in the second quarter, and a nice job there from Mosley to 14. That's just a one-on-one ball, Chris, and say, hey, wide receiver, go get it.
And they've gone back-to-back possessions with touchdowns. That combination, I think we'll walk over and figure out who that young man's name is at halftime.
Having a great game. That's his 2nd touchdown, and it's a 13-0 lead, I should say, for Olympus. And we'll see here what they do with the extra point. Snap good, hold good, kick is up and looks good, and it is good. A 14-0 lead with 54 seconds to play before halftime here at Dawn Stadium.
So if you're Spanish Fork, you're going to get the ball back one more time for the half. I think you want to see if you can get something going, but you got to play a little bit conservative. Because if you turn the ball over on your own side of the field, that's 3 possession lead here at the half would be pretty dangerous.
I mean, and that's kind of something, Chris, you talked about right now. 54 seconds. Olympus only has one timeout, but if you get to a position where you have 2 incomplete passes, Olympus may be, and with the way they just scored in that last drive, I don't know if I might be aggressive and say, hey, if it's 3rd down and I have a timeout left, let's use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Olympus is about 1 yard on a fourth down play from being up 21-0, and then they had that field goal that was pretty close. So Spanish Fork, the way their offense is playing, they should feel a little bit fortunate that they're only down 14-0 as opposed to possibly even 24-0.
Springville pulling away from Dixie, 34-7 Red Devils, that one in the 4th quarter, as they'll kick this one off, and they're not going to kick it deep. They kick it kind of to the shallow side of the field. It's picked up right now by Eli Maga, and Maga makes a couple of men miss before being brought down at the 30-yard line, so not a bad return there for Eli Maga.
If I'm Spanish Fork, I'm still allowing Smith to drop back here and seeing if he can get something going on this drive before we're, turning specifically to running the ball and running the clock out.
Maple Mountain has taken a 14-7 lead over the Payson Lions over at Maple Mountain. That one, 2nd quarter. So we'll see here. 49 seconds, Spanish Fork, 2 timeouts, and McKay Smith in at quarterback. 4 wide receivers. Smith rolls away, pressure comes, throws towards the sideline, and
it's like it's incomplete, but there's a flag
that comes in. One of the linemen, it looked like, for Spanish Fork
was way downfield.
Britton Nielsen ended up back over on the sideline. I don't know if there was a late shove or what. One of the rules the officials were explaining is, derogatory comments and that between both teams. There's no
it's going on Olympus.
No leniency this year on that. That's not what happened here, but so unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, and that puts Spanish Fork now at the 45-yard line, making it a little bit easier right there. Definitely makes up for the incompletion. 1st and 10 right here.
And you can definitely take a couple shots deep here for Spanish Fork.
Ready to go, play action. They'll get that one out. That's complete. Ben Koski, number 4 on the catch. Koski's got a 1st down to the 43-yard line, and Spanish Fork now 31 seconds to play right here. 2 timeouts, and they're moving the football, Chris.
Yeah, great play that time. They'll restart the clock here.
Smith, play action, pressure comes, steps up, throws over the middle, and that one's caught. That's Jacobson down to the 23-yard line. A nice catch by Brock Jacobson to haul that one in. Timeout called by Spanish Fork. They have 1 more left with 18 seconds to play before half.
And you mentioned this, but Jacobson with great concentration to hang on to that ball. There was Olympus guys flying all over by him, and sometimes you hear footsteps. That time he was able to concentrate and hold on to it. Well, Spanish Fork near the red zone here. If they can get in field goal position, I wonder if they'll try and take some points and cut it to an 11-point lead, or if it's touchdown or bust here for the Dons.
So right now we'll see what they come up with coming out of the timeout. Looking here, a couple other scores from the region. Timpanogos leading Jordan 28-13. That one in the 2nd quarter.
Like ALA was down, is that 15-8?
16-8 against Gunnison.
And at that level, you can only go for 2 apparently.
1st and 10 from the 23. Play action. Smith steps up, gets hit, puts it out there. That one's intercepted in the end zone. Coming away with it for Olympus, number 10, Max Rice. who jumps out of the gym to come up with it, and it will be a touchback for Olympus. And my guess is the Titans will probably just take a knee and take that one into half.
With only 2 seconds to go here, might as well take that shot. Not a bad throw to try and get 6 points before the end of the half with the time and situation.
Max Rice, a 5'8" junior right there, coming up with the INT. So they're going to reset the game clock to 11 seconds right here.
Yeah, so Olympus here, Mosley's been doing a great job of leading this offense for the Olympus Titans here. He's found number 14 for 2 touchdowns here in this second quarter. We'll try and get a name at the half for that individual, but Spanish Fork's offense needs to figure out how to manufacture some points here starting in the second half if they want to win this ball game, obviously.
1st and 10, Mosley to throw, looks down the seam, has Ty Siegel. Siegel across the 40, down to the 47, 48 yard line, and whistles blow. I think right now we're going to see timeout Olympus. They have 1 left, and with 5 seconds, Chris, they're setting up almost like, hey, we'll take 1 shot towards the end zone.
Yeah, and they added a few seconds back to the clock, and that could be the difference here between points and not for Olympus. Like, imagine this is the situation where you see if you can throw it down filled with a Hail Mary. Maybe hook and ladder.
We saw Springville a couple years ago, I believe, pull that off actually, and that was the first time that I had seen that, and it was like a 65, I want to say like a 65, 70 yard hook and ladder. Not that we like to talk too much about Springville here in Spanish Fork, but Salem Hills leads Skyview 14-7.
Yeah, Springville and Spanish Fork not being in the same region, those two teams the last couple of years battling for the region championship, and Spanish Fork winning a couple of years ago, or at least tying with Springville, and Springville winning the last year. There's been some pretty good battles through the years.
They're going to reset the game clock, it looks like, to 3 seconds. So this should be the final play of the half right here. Mosley back to throw, completes it right there out to that is Nash Taylor, and that's how the half will end. So Olympus gets 2 touchdowns for number 14, and they lead 14-0 at half here at Dawn Stadium. We'll take a break. We come back, we'll have the halftime festivities for you. Here you're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Back here at halftime on Spanish Fork 17, Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst as we go here, and perfect, awesome. We have an updated Olympus roster here, so to kind of let you know, we've been saying number 14, that is Caden Lloyd. He's a junior wide receiver. Well, Caden Lloyd has 2 touchdowns in the first half, Chris, right now, and that's the big difference in the ball game right here.
Yeah, and and they were both pretty big distances, but that second one was about 32 yards out, and we saw Mosley put that ball right where he needed to a couple times to Lloyd. And Olympus's offense has been moving. The Spanish Fork's defense has stepped up a few times and stopped them on 4th down on some big plays, but for the most part here, it's been Olympus that has really owned the time of possession and really the flow of this ball game.
We'll get ready here to join the halftime show here at Dawn Stadium on Spanish Fork 17.
Give it up again for your Los Cholinos.
even know I was underinsured until yesterday. I gotta find a way, I think I gotta find a way to come up with about $50,000. I don't know how to do it. They did have one going already, but
fans, welcome to the field, our Spanish Fork High School cheerleaders. Our Spanish Fork cheer team will be performing Right Round, choreographed by Eden Merrill, this year's cheer captain. Our co-captain is Lauren McCann. The team is coached by Holly Hunter, Grace Foley, Kendall Clare, and Carter Marziel. Everyone, please welcome to the field your Spanish Fork cheerleaders.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Halftime here at Dawn Stadium. 14-0 lead for the Olympus Titans on top of the Spanish Fork Dons. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst as we kick off the 2023 high school football season. And we talked about one of the question marks maybe coming into this season for Spanish Fork was how are you going to replace the offense this year? And so far, that Olympus defense has been extremely good tonight. Spanish Fork's moved the ball, but Olympus, I mean, when you bring back 10 defensive starters, their defense is going to be solid.
Yeah, and their defense has played well. We've seen Caden Vest play pretty good today for Spanish Fork. Once he's gotten into past that initial line of scrimmage, he's broke some tackles. He's gotten some yards after contact. We saw a pretty good catch and run by Gunter, but Spanish Fork's passing game so far has been anemic, and I think it's just they need to settle in a little bit there and trying to get some of that timing down. But right now, Olympus' secondary is outplaying the receivers and quarterback for Spanish Fork in this one.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what halftime adjustments Spanish Fork makes, because we saw them in the second quarter kind of make some more adjustments to going to Caden Vest. But right now, somewhere, whether it's special teams or defense, Chris, you just get the sense where one of those two units is going to have to step up and put some points on the board tonight for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork has also turned over the ball twice. I don't remember Olympus has came close several times to turning it over. They've kind of struggled on that quarterback to exchange from the center there, but you're right, Spanish Fork's going to have to figure out how to change the momentum in this game, because so far it just feels like Olympus has kind of owned the tempo and they played how they wanted to. Now Spanish Fork's defense, considering the field position that Olympus has had, has done great to keep this to a 14-0 ball game.
Yeah, in some ways, Spanish Fork's really fortunate. It's not, 21 or 28-0 right now. I see some clouds off over the distance right now, coming over the mountains. Let's take a look here, Chris, and let's review our Triple T heating, cooling, and plumbing keys to the game, because a couple of these keys, for the first week of the season, it's always tough to come up with keys to the game, but there's 2 or 3 of these, Chris, that really right now are playing a big role in this game.
Yeah, and I think the first one, avoid first game jitters. It seems like Olympus is a little bit more ready to play football today than Spanish Fork has been. I don't know if that's just Spanish Fork's a younger team, but I think those first game jitters are possibly even affecting Smith at the quarterback. He just doesn't seem as comfortable as he did when he filled in last year. And then the third key in particular, it's 2-0 for Olympus in the turnover battle. Olympus has done a pretty good job of taking care of that ball. Spanish Fork really hasn't forced anything either. But I think those 2 keys are something that Spanish Fork's going to have to change if they want to win this ball game. And I think Spanish Fork's done a great job in the trenches when it's been 4th and 1. We've seen them stop a couple of quarterback sneaks. So I think Spanish Fork is doing a great job, especially that defensive line of getting a push when they need to on Olympus.
You're just kind of waiting, if you're Spanish Fork, Chris, for somebody to make a big play or something to kind of turn some momentum or so right here. We'll go ahead here. We'll take a short break on Spanish Fork 17. We come back. We'll check some scores from throughout the region, and we'll get you ready for the second half. You're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Well, back here at Dawn Stadium, a 14-0 lead for Olympus. The Titans are starting to come back onto the field right here. We're still a few minutes away, though, from the start of the second half right here. It has gone final up in Springville. The Red Devils get a 34-7 win over Dixie. That one, they actually started that one about 5 o'clock tonight. Played a little bit more in the heat of the day. As we kind of go through, we'll check some other scores from the region. Sky Ridge leading Tippview 13-7. That one in the second quarter up in Lehigh tonight. So we kind of scroll through here. This is a kind of an entertaining one. East and Orem week 1. And right now it's the Leopards up 14-0 at half over the Orem Tigers.
That's a little bit of a surprise because East was supposed to struggle a little bit more than they historically have.
Park City's up 2 touchdowns against Wasatch in that rivalry game right there in that 5A contest right there. Skyview leads Salem Hills 17-14 at the half down in Salem. They're tied at 14 over at Maple Mountain between Payson and the Golden Eagles. That one, they're just approaching halftime. It's halftime in Provo, 34-0 lead for the Bulldogs over Grantsville. Right here, just kind of scrolling through here. Mountain View Trails Canyon View 22-16. That one late in the second quarter up in Orem. And then ALA trailing 26-22 in the second quarter against Gunnison. So the Eagles are in that one to start the year.
Yeah, and they struggled last year. It looks like if they've got 22 points, that's a pretty good production for them.
And the only other game in the region that I can see, Timpanogos leading Jordan 35-13. That's at the half up there. So we'll see Timpanogos, I believe, later on this year when they come to Spanish Fork. Next Friday night, we have our second game of the season. It will be a 7 p.m. kickoff from Maple Mountain, where the Dons and the Golden Eagles will do battle. And I mean, it's always a fun game when those two teams get together. You have a new coach over in Maple Mountain. You have maybe a younger team in Spanish Fork and a team in Maple Mountain that's trying to prove themselves. That's going to be a big game, I think, with that. A win in that one, Chris, for whoever comes out and wins that one next week. That's going to really, it could propel us a team season.
It could for sure, and Maple Mountain, they play in a pretty tough region, and depending on how many teams they take to the playoffs, that might be a must. Shouldn't talk about must wins in week 2, but how the RPI works, if it's going to be a struggle for Maple Mountain to find region wins, so you got to get them where you can.
You talk about the change in the regions, and let's review those right here, because we saw this a few years ago where Spanish Fork, Maple Mountain, some of the more traditional rivals got split. So here's the new 4A Region 8 for this season. You have Spanish Fork, Provo, Timpanogos, Mountain View, Salem Hills, Payson, and Uinta. And so, I mean, a very interesting kind of look right there.
One of those teams seems a little further out than the others.
Mountain View up in Orem?
Uinta out in Vernal.
And we've seen Uinta in the region.
It's the Utah County Uinta region, I guess.
With that. So you kind of see right there, Spanish Fork actually goes to Uinta, I believe, week 4 of the season. The Dons will play at home this week, and then they go to Maple Mountain, which isn't a far trip. They go to Orem, and then go to Uinta. And so they're going to find out what they have pretty quick, I feel like, right there. I think that's 3 5A schools in non-region play that they're going to face.
Yeah, that is, but that helps your RPI. If you can get a couple of wins there, and this game's still early, you get bonus points in the RPI if you go up a classification. If you go down, the win doesn't count as much. So I'm almost surprised that you almost just don't schedule games in your own classification.
As we take a look at the new 5A Region 7, Maple Mountain and Springville have been kind of traditional rivals. They're together, and they're joined with Orem and Tentview. And you look at this Region 7, and I mean, there would be some other schools and some other regions, Chris, that would have a problem with that. This may be one of the toughest football regions in the entire state.
Well, Springville, Orem, and Tentview usually make up 75% of the teams that make it all the way to the Rice-Eccles Stadium in 5A. It's too bad they didn't throw Lehigh in there to make it the death region. Lehigh moving up to 6A, though, so not eligible.
So with that, you still have Wasatch in there, so a little bit of a trip for some of the schools around here over to Wasatch. And then Cedar Valley, I mean, even that's going to be a little bit of a trip.
Depends on what time of the day you leave to go to Cedar Valley. That traffic can be bad out that way.
And so when you kind of take a look at this region, like you talked about for Maple Mountain, really the Cedar Valley game and probably the Wasatch, those are the two games where if you're the Golden Eagles, you're looking at your schedule going, we really have to get those two.
Yeah, for sure. And if you can win any of the others, that's great. We'll see what Kaylin Hall can do with that program taking over for Burton Shaw.
With that, so it should be good. We're about a minute away or so from start of the second half. Chris, what's the key for Spanish Fork here in the second half?
They've got to get some confidence on offense. They've got to just get that ball moving, take over the time of possession, and get going. I think Spanish Fork's defense can do enough to keep them in this ball game. So it's up to the offense to step up and get scoring.
We got a couple of number updates for you here on the Olympus roster. The interception at the end of the half for the Titans was number 10. That's James Scheneldorf right there. I said it was Max Rice. Rice is wearing number 16. And doing the kicking tonight for Olympus is number 99, Asher Gubler, sorry, right there. So with that here, but yeah, like you said, somebody here, if you're Spanish Fork, you're just waiting for somebody to make a big play.
Yeah, and we'll see if it's on defense or offense. Spanish Fork will get the ball to start. Half the guys are going north, the other half are going south, so we'll see if they can get them all to the north side of the field here.
I mean, that would be an interesting way of doing a kickoff, don't you think? You put a couple guys on the other side of the field, they run back with the kickoff team. You know, I mean, that'd be interesting.
I was watching one of the spring leagues. I can't remember if it was the XFL or USFL, where they line the guys up 10 yards apart from each other and then kick it, where they're all down up by each other. Might be safer. I don't know. It looks weird.
We'll see how long kickoffs and that remain in the game of football. There's a lot of talk about safety issues and maybe changing it to be a team just gets the ball in their 20. So back deep, Brock Jacobson, Ryan Olson, and this one goes into the end zone and will come out to the 20.
So Spanish Fork will get the ball at the 20. Offensive line has done a decent job of protecting Smith, but it does seem like Olympus on the edge, sometimes able to get a little bit of pressure. You got to do a little bit better job on Gabe Johnson, who's wearing number 0 on that defensive end. He seems to be a disruptive force.
Last season, Johnson 40 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, Chris, and he added 4.5 sacks. And that led the Olympus Titans.
He's going up against Dunn. Dunn's got the size advantage. Johnson's got the speed advantage.
Caden Vest gets the call on first down and 10. And Vest goes ahead to get about 4, maybe 5, and it will make it 2nd and 5 coming up here for Spanish Fork.
A pretty good pickup there. And that Vest, he's always, I mentioned this earlier, he's always falling forward, which just gets you another yard or 2, depending on how tall you are.
Just got to keep those legs moving, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, low center of gravity, I think, is what's the cause of that.
2nd and 10, it's Vest. This time he tries to bounce it outside, across the 30, has a first down, and he'll be brought down around the 34-yard line. So 2 carries for Vest here in the second half, and a nice job there. Spanish Fork has a first down. And, I mean, maybe you take the kind of see if you can wear down Olympus a little bit here and have Caden Vest go just downhill, you know?
Yeah, Vest is just a junior, but did play a little bit last year. Spanish Fork's had some pretty good running backs the last few years.
Vest again gets the call. This time he's going to be slowed down and I believe brought down. Number 5, Weston Olson from his linebacker spot. Olson, the leading tackler a year ago for Olympus, 79 tackles on the year, and he makes the stop there.
And Spanish Fork running. I think Olympus is kind of keyed on to that now, so maybe on second and long might be the time to go play action pass here.
So we'll see 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. 10:31 to play, third quarter. High snap, they get it down. Vest goes off the right side this time, going straight ahead, and he picks up 5, maybe 6 to make it third and manageable for the Dons.
And Smith was like in the air handing the ball down to Vest. The timing was off with that high snap, and great job by Smith getting that to Vest because I thought they were going to fumble it, just the optics of that.
So it's going to be 3rd and 4, or 3rd and 3, maybe 3.5 coming up here for the Dons. They need a big third down conversion here to start quarter number 3. Right up the middle. Vest cuts back up the middle. He's going to fall short. It's going to be 4th and Chris, probably about a yard.
4th and 1, game 1. I guarantee you Spanish Fork's going to go for it here. Down by 14.
Points have been at a premium in this one so far. 2 touchdowns in the first half for Olympus. The difference in the game. Caden Lloyd with both those scores for the Titans. Right up the middle, Vest has the first down and more into Olympus territory, still on his feet before he's brought down inside the 35 at the 34, and it's a big-time first down for Spanish Fork.
A 20-yard run that time by Vest, and he shot it through that hole like a cannon. Gets touched by multiple guys before he's finally brought down.
You're not going to bring Vest down with a lot of arm tackles.
Oh, for sure.
Smith clapping at the line of scrimmage right now. Vest runs off the field. He'll get a well-deserved break. 1st and 10 for the Dons. McKay Smith gives it off. Here's a handoff. That's Brock Jacobson, number 21. Jacobson's going to have a good gain here as well. He's going to get down to about the 27-yard line and pick up about 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, great job by Johnson being a little nimble and shifty there, breaking a tackle to get a few extra yards. And Spanish Fork's run game is on point here.
Ready to go right here. Jacobson joining him in the backfield. They throw it out. That one's caught. That's, I believe, Ethan Beckstead, number 22. And Beckstead will lose a yard or 2 there on the catch.
Looked like Beckstead was going to throw that. They've tried that multiple times. At least that's what it looked like. And Olympus has done a great job of staying at home on the backside of those passes because kind of glanced downfield and there was coverage on anybody that would have been a receiver.
7:55 to go here in the third quarter. 14-0 Olympus. Spanish Fork on their opening drive of the second half has used the entire so far about almost 5 minutes of game clock right here. They find themselves in a 3rd and 6 here though. Smith at quarterback. Quarterback draw play up the middle, and he's going to get brought down right around the 29-yard line or so. Gabe Johnson, number 0, getting there for Olympus. And it's going to make it 4th down, Chris, and about 5 or so coming up right here. Spanish Fork's going to go.
And it's definitely a play. Olympus will be forced to use a timeout here, but that's definitely a play you're running to set up the 4th down play to go for it.
I mean, that's the thing right now is if you're Spanish Fork, how many offensive opportunities are you going to have? And right now you need points.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, they've done a good job of keeping Olympus's offense off the field here. So far, they've almost taken off 5 minutes. So they can pick up this crucial 4th down here, keep that momentum going and get some points. I think we've got ourselves a ball game.
As right now they're driving here. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible here tonight on Spanish Fork 17.
Yeah, we got 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Lance Wilson State Farm, and MVP Sports. Notice all of our sponsors are on Main Street, so go support these great companies that have made this broadcast possible. Also, you can check out our games on YouTube, Spanish Fork 17's channel. There's the URL at the bottom of your screen. And next week, we will be at Maple Mountain, where Spanish Fork will drive up the hill for that battle. That'll be an exciting game. Ryan and I will be there. So stay tuned and stick with us all season as we'll watch our 2 high school teams in battle this year.
So 4th and 5 for the Dons from their own from the Olympus 29. Pressure comes. Smith rolls out, and I think the ball came loose. It's on the ground. Either way, it's going to be Olympus football, but Spanish Fork recovers. Turnover on downs, though, and the Titans will have the football back here with just under 7 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
And Spanish Fork did a good job of moving the ball. If your defense can get a 3 and out or possibly get a turnover, they're going to have, so they got to do something to help this offense out.
So we'll see here. Olympus has really liked that kind of those quick passes, kind of almost an extension of a run game in some ways with that tonight. So we'll see here what they do here. 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. And Olympus with Mosley and Nick Brown in the backfield. And there's a penalty flag that will go before the snap. Olympus in the all-white with silver helmets. Spanish Fork, silver helmets, red tops, black pants. That's going to be a false start against Olympus. That's going to back them up 5 yards here.
And this is Coach Brandon Burt's first year for Olympus. I think he just found out a few weeks ago he was going to be coaching the team. Last year's coach got another opportunity in life and took it.
So it'll be 1st and 15 right here. Mosley throws the screen pass. That's Luke Bryant on the catch. He breaks 1 tackle and gets tripped up by Jacobson in the secondary, but that should be enough for an Olympus first down.
And Luke Bryant just on the edge there, breaks a tackle, gets a first down, and very impressed with the poise of Mosley. His line's given him a lot of time. He hasn't needed a lot, but he's done a good job of finding who he's needed to.
There's a slant route. That one is going to be complete. That is out right now to Nash Taylor, number 13. And Olympus is going fast, Chris, here. Now they've gotten some momentum here, back-to-back kind of chunk plays.
Yeah, and they've done most of their damage through the air here with those short passes, timing passes, and Spanish Fork's trying to counter with some blitzing.
Back to throw with some time. Looking down, has a man. Nash Taylor's out there. He has the catch at the 10, brought down inside the 5. It was Jacobson, number 21, on the tackle, but not before Olympus strikes there over the top, and their 1st and goal coming up here in the third quarter.
A great job. Mosley put the ball right on the number to Nash, had plenty of time. Olympus's line did a great job of providing ample time there, and you can see the confidence and momentum in this game shifting over to Olympus. Spanish Fork, though, they got down on the first drive of the ball game down in their own territory and was able to get a 4 and out at the 1.
Luke Bryant in the Wildcat takes the snap inside the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Olympus. And the Titans take a 20-0 lead right there on about a 3-yard touchdown run from Luke Bryant.
And really that was set up by that long pass to Nash, the play earlier, but Olympus now with a 20-0 lead, and Spanish Fork's offense got rolling there, but just couldn't quite finish that drive.
So Olympus will try the point after touchdown. They're 2 for 2 tonight and make it 3 for 3 for Asher Gubler. And now it's a 21-0 lead here in the third quarter. 5:32 to go here in the third quarter, Chris. And right there, Olympus kind of changed their MO. They took a couple of shots over the top. And right now, Spanish Fork and head coach Dustin Smith, I mean, they've tried to throw it, they've tried to run it. And right now, it's just they haven't executed as well tonight as Olympus.
Yeah, and they've showed glimpses and sustained some drives, but they just haven't been able to capitalize on points. And let's be honest, Olympus has owned the field possession here tonight, and they brought quite a few students down in their student section, so great support there. Great to see that, making that drive from Salt Lake County on down.
Probably close, somewhere probably close to an hour or so drive, I would think, from where Olympus is at to here to Spanish Fork.
Depending on traffic, it could be over an hour.
We went to Skyline that year, Chris, and I think it took us,
longer than it should have.
Yeah, due to traffic and that. As they'll get ready to kick it away here. This one goes deep, and it will be, actually Jacobson ran over to take it, and it's into the end zone, so it will be a touchback, and the Spanish Fork Dons offense will come out right here. 5:32 to go here in the third quarter, and Olympus in front 21-0 as the Spanish Fork offense comes out. And I mean, it just seems like it's about time we're going to see Vest make a big play and kind of bust through. He's had a couple where he's gotten loose, just hasn't maybe gotten all the way, or that one tackler's able to get him. So we'll see what the Dons do here. 1st and 10 from their own 20.
And also, you're down 21. At some point, you might have to abandon the run and see if you can get something going through the air. Spanish Fork took off nearly 5 minutes on that first drive and came away with no points.
Here's a run right up the middle with Vest, I believe, and that's going to be about 3 yards on first down.
And Spanish Fork is going to go quick here. And it's kind of the optics of how they spread it and they run up the middle. They've been doing it for several years. Just isn't your traditional running game, but it's really worked well for the Dons the last 4 or 5 years.
Smith at quarterback here. He'll throw the little screen pass. Ryan Olson on the catch. Olson immediately brought down after a short gain. Getting there on the stop was Hugh Matsumori, a sophomore corner. Able to come up and make the tackle.
Another big third down, 3rd and 5 here. You don't want to get in the habit of going for it too many times on 4th down, but just the way that as aggressive as the coaching staff has been here for Spanish Fork, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it again.
Big 3rd and 5 right here. They need the 30-yard line for a first down. Play action, throws a screen. Ryan Olson makes the catch, and immediately getting there, Gabe Johnson, number 0, along with Morgan Boyce, the middle linebacker for Olympus. It's going to end up being 4th and a yard. So picking up about 3 or 4 yards there, but now, Chris, a big 4th and 1.
Spanish Fork doesn't hesitate to go for it again on 4th and 1.
Trying to, I think, draw Olympus off sides. 18 seconds on the play clock right here. Smith at quarterback will throw this inside slant, has a man. That should be enough for a first down, and that is complete out to number 10. That is Tyson Mansfield on the catch, listed as a tight end on your roster, and a Don's first down.
Spanish Fork lines right back up. A great pass by Smith just to know where the marker is and get it to his tight end that time.
1st and 10 now from their own 32. Back to throw. Smith going over the top, has Ryan Olson out there. It's picked off, intercepted, and ran back right here inside the 50 to the 40, still on his feet, trying to bounce it outside, breaks another tackle, inside the 30, on his feet to the 20, brought down inside the 10. Once again, that is James Scheneldorf coming up with the INT, and it's 1st and goal coming up here for Olympus, it looks like. I do not see any penalty flags, and a turnover sets Olympus up inside the 10.
And is that Scheneldorf, you said? I don't have the same roster as Ryan. I've got the old one. But anyways, he did a great job of locating where the ball was and running to it. And Olsen didn't know where it was. He didn't know the ball was thrown towards him, and he kept on moving well past the ball. That one was a little underthrown that time. And Scheneldorf takes advantage of it. And Olympus, with great field position in the red zone, looking to make this a 4-score ball game. And if they get a touchdown here, Spanish Fork might as well start looking just to improve within and maybe not be so worried about winning this ball game, because that one might be out of reach.
I said inside the 10. They marked him down at the 14-yard line. Nick Brown on the carry here. He will get it Olympus inside the 10, down to about the 9-yard line. So the Titans can get a first down here without scoring a touchdown.
Good run, finally brought down by Gibson, who I got to mention because he's my cousin.
He'll be bring up 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5 for Olympus here, and they've done a great job of driving.
Ready to go right here from the 9-yard line. 4 wide receivers. Penalty flags fly before the snap, and we'll see here. Believe it's going to be a procedure call against, and it will be a false start against Olympus.
Yeah, so great job by Olympus shooting themselves in the foot for Spanish Fork's sake there. No, Olympus has played a great ball game. I think the one thing that they could do a little bit better is just work on that center to quarterback exchange. That's kind of delayed some of the plays. It's been sloppy at times, but outside of that, their offense has looked pretty good.
I think they'll surprise some people in their region this year. Just looking at how experienced they are, especially on defense. And here we're going to have time whistled as the play clock was getting low. Timeout called by the Titans with 1:49 to play here in quarter number 3. And right now the biggest thing if you're Spanish Fork is at this point get a stop, build some momentum, but coming back from 3 scores at this point is going to be tough.
It is, and you know, you never know. We still have about 14 minutes of football to go. If Spanish Fork were able to get a turnover and some points here, it's a whole new ball game. If Olympus goes down and scores, this one feels like it's pretty much over. So Spanish Fork needs to find a way to generate some momentum if they want to win this ball game. If they do give a touchdown up, it's early in the season. Spanish Fork needs to just work on getting a little bit better here.
And I mean, that's the thing early on in the season. The first week especially, Chris, we've seen teams the first week that have really struggled, and then they just start clicking and everything starts going. It's one game in your season. There's plenty of season left to go right here. We'll see what Spanish Fork can do. 2nd and 10. That is number 1, Luke Bryant in at quarterback. He'll take the direct snap, tries to bounce it outside, and this time he's going to get pushed back. He may have only gotten a half a yard or so, Chris. In fact, he may have even lost half a yard.
Looks like he made it back to the line of scrimmage is where they're going to mark that. But 3rd down and 9 to go here. 3rd and 10 or so. And, you know, Spanish Fork could get it if they can get a big stop here. It'd be great, and Olympus is going to let that clock roll.
Play clock right now under 10. Mosley back to throw, completes the pass. Here's Siegel at the 10, looking for the corner. He is in. Touchdown, Olympus. Ty Siegel, the senior, gets in, and it is a 27-0 lead for the Olympus Titans.
Yeah, so Olympus has scored 2 touchdowns in the second, and now 2 touchdowns in the third, and Mosley has his 3rd touchdown pass. So Olympus is playing a pretty good ball game. Their defense has been solid, and the offense has really shown the ability to move the ball and get in the end zone.
So the extra point after touchdown try here for Olympus. And we'll see snap good, hold good, kick, line drive kick, and this one is good as well. So with 1:03 to go in quarter number 3, Olympus is pulled away. It's a 28-0 lead for the Titans here out of Class 5A Region 6. We'll take a quick look here coming up at the upcoming schedule for the Dons, and then we'll also talk about the new region here, Chris. Spanish Fork goes to Maple Mountain. They go to Orem and then go to Uinta. In fact, that game next week with Maple Mountain, that's our next broadcast next Friday night, a 7 o'clock kickoff from Maple Mountain. And then they get into a region, and it's a little bit different region this year. They'll host Mountain View, they'll go to Salem Hills, host Provo, and that could be the game that maybe decides the region championship. They go to Payson, and then they're going to play Timpanogos.
Yeah, it should be an exciting schedule. I think Spanish Fork moving down to 4A with this young team should be able to compete for a region championship. We'll see what they can do with the playoffs, but it's going to be interesting because the 4A only had like 15 schools last year, and we're mixing a lot of, I think it's up to 27. So we're going to be mixing a lot of schools up north with the teams that have dominated around the St. George area.
Ryan Olson on the return. He gets out to about the 14-yard line where Spanish Fork will start here with 1 minute to go in the third quarter. And I mean, that's the thing. You talk about, the previous 3A, 4A region, you had a group of schools up north in the Logan area, maybe the Tremont and Bear River area. And then you had the St. George cluster. And when you looked at the state playoff bracket, it was north-south type matchups. And, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's more exciting to have what was there, 34 teams in 5A last year? It was kind of unbalanced. So I think it's exciting that they've mixed it up a little bit and see what Spanish Fork can do in this. I think they do them in 2-year cycles now.
McKay Smith back at quarterback will look to throw. He has a receiver. That's out to Ryan Olson, number 3. And Olson, they're able to pick up about 6 yards or so. They're on that, and that's a pure timing route right there.
Yeah, that's a curl route he ran. Pretty good timing by Smith to get it there. Good blocking by the line. But, yeah, getting back to the regions, I find it interesting that Spanish Fork's 4A for football and 5A for everything else. So they're just kind of one of those schools that's kind of on the edge. Are you a 4A or are you a 5A? And I think that helps the football team be a little more competitive by dropping down a bit.
Will Gunter there on the catch. He's got the 28-yard line. Is that
going to be helmet to helmet?
As a penalty marker comes in here, so that should add some extra yards on.
I think that was Jack Evans with the hit there for Olympus.
Just kind of wait and see here. Yeah, helmet to helmet, so it'll be 15, I believe, from the end of the play.
And that's the right call, but I don't think that was one of those plays where he's headhunting. It's just that's where the level of the player was, and that's where the tackle was made. So I don't think it was intentional by any malice, but you got to be careful to avoid that head and neck area, and you'll get a 15-yard penalty, and rightfully so.
2 seconds on the game clock. Dons get the playoff. It's right up the middle with Vest. And Vest is going to be close to another first down. It'll be a couple of yards shy, and that's how we will end the third quarter. We go to quarter number 4. Olympus 28, Spanish Fork 0. We'll take a quick break. We come back fourth quarter here on Spanish Fork 17.
For surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Start at quarter number 4 here at Dawn Stadium in Spanish Fork. A 28-0 lead for the Olympus Titans. The opening game of the 2023 high school football season. And the Spanish Fork Dons have the football, and a 2nd and 4 coming up on the Olympus side of the field. And Chris, this, and I may be wrong on this may only be the third time, or second or third time that they've been in Olympus territory.
Yeah, I don't even think Spanish Fork's gotten into the red zone or even came close to cracking it. But, I mean, Vest, he's played well in spots. It's just they get going, and then Spanish Fork has a couple of negative plays. Really struggled to run to the outside against Olympus.
Smith back to throw, and that one's going to be hauled in. That is complete out to Nixon Warren. He's a freshman on the catch, and that will be enough for a Spanish Fork first down.
Yeah, great catch that time by Warren. I think where Spanish Fork's really struggled is they've tried to take it to the edge on a couple of these runs, and Olympus's lateral speed has been excellent, and they have not allowed Spanish Fork to hit the edges on the runs.
So they move the ball down to the Olympus 42-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Dons. 11:33 to go, fourth quarter. And here is a give on the outside on the kind of fly sweep play. Trevin Davies, number 11, getting the carry.
He gets 3 or 4. So that was one of those edge plays where Spanish Fork didn't lose 4 or 5 yards. So pretty good blocking to create that hole.
Don's going fast here. 2nd and 6 from their own, or from the Olympus 38-yard line. Smith at the line of scrimmage, trying to, or in shotgun, directing traffic. High snap, they get it to Vest right up the middle. And Vest is going to fight his way close to the marker. Depending on the spot, he may have another first down, and he does here for Spanish Fork. So Caden Vest doing exactly what you want from your starting running back, and that is pick up first downs. You really want to get around 4 yards to carry.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork will go fast again. And this offensive line's done a good job of pushing Olympus back for the most part.
Give right up the middle. Here's Vest as he kind of spins for a couple of extra yards. And again, another 4 or 5 yards there. There's a Titan down. It's our first real injury tonight.
Eagle? Or Seagull, sorry.
I think that's 13, it looks like, who's down right here for Olympus. I think that's Nash Taylor, who plays wide receiver and strong safety. Trainer will come out and take a look at him right here with 10:24 to go here in quarter number 4. Right here, never want to see injuries right here, but let's pull up the 4A region again here and just take another look at this, Chris, because you talked earlier, you mentioned something I really liked. You talked about more like traditional rivalries here. And for Spanish Fork, you talk about having Salem Hills and Payson. That Spanish Fork-Payson rivalry goes back a long, long time right there. And that would be kind of fun to have that game be in the region this year.
Yeah, and going over to Salem Hills is always great. Those fans in Salem have always been good to us. And so, you know, I think Spanish Fork goes over there and we might cover that game. But, yeah, it's always good to see Salem Hills and Payson. Payson's football team, I think, had their first winning record in 40-something years. So Payson's got things going. That was traditionally just a game you had a pretty high probability of winning, but now Payson's got that program rolling again. And Payson's got more state titles probably than anybody in this region, historically speaking. Maybe Mountain View got a couple back in the day as well.
Nash Taylor, the injured Titan down. He was helped off the field right here. So Dons are ready to go. 2nd and 5 from the 27-yard line, looking for that first touchdown of 2023. Vest in the backfield with McKay Smith. Gives it to Vest right up the middle, and he gets a few yards ahead, close to the first down marker, brought down right there by number 5, Weston Olson. and it's going to make it 3rd down and about 1. Chris, you would think 2-down territory right here for the Dons.
They've gone for 2-down territory on their own 29 on 4th and 1, so I would be shocked if they decided it was time to kick a field goal from this position. Unless they want points. There's something about just getting some points and not getting shut out that's nice as well.
High snap, Caden Vest on the carry. He has a 1st down inside the 20 down to the 19. The Dons are in the red zone right here with 9:37 to play in the 4th quarter.
One thing I've noticed is Aaron Dunn's, he's been slow to move. He's been playing both ways where traditionally he's just played that tackle position and been a monster at it. But I wonder if they're going to have to figure out how to limit his snaps on defense a little bit.
Especially, too, I mean, it's been pretty warm today. I'm kind of surprised we haven't had more people going down with cramping and things like that we typically see the first couple of weeks of the season here in Utah. Smith back to throw with some time. Now going to throw that one, and it's almost intercepted. In fact, Olympus is trying to say they did intercept it. It goes incomplete. Once again, though, it is number 10 who would have came up with the INT. That is Schellendorf there for Olympus.
Yeah, he tries to get the Oscar that time by selling the interception, but that ball clearly, I mean, it's pretty easy with these turfs because you can see the black little beads fly up into the air when the ball hits. 2nd and 10
coming up. If you were playing on grass, he may have had a good shot there to come away with that INT. That would have been his 3rd interception of the ball game. Caden Vest right up the middle here on 2nd down. He'll go ahead for 4 down to about the 15-yard line to make it 3rd and about 6 coming up for Spanish Fork.
And if you're Spanish Fork, you're really close. You got to get these points here, get some momentum going into next week. I still think if you keep it on the ground here on 3rd and 6 and see if you can pick it up on the ground, you still have 4th down if you need to throw it.
Olympus won it. I think the Titans are trying to say, hey, we need one more on the field, and finally Brandon Burt will, I believe, use a timeout. One player came running on the field, and I think he thought, oh, wait, there's too many. So he turned around and ran off, and right there I was Weston Olson saying, no, come on the field. Best to use that timeout right there with 8:40 to go. Here,
they're out of them. Olympus is
that's their 3rd timeout right there. So we'll take a moment here to thank our sponsors for making tonight's broadcast possible here on Spanish Fork 17. We want to thank Lance Wilson, State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and 2 Jacks Pizza for making this broadcast possible tonight. And we want to welcome those and thank those watching on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. Catch up with our live games and some of our past shows in that. And I believe there's even some content from Fiesta Days up there as well here that Spanish Fork just had. I guess it's been a couple weeks now.
Time's flying, but yeah, that was fun with the Fiesta Days activities this year, and always stay up to date with your city council meetings. We got all sorts of archive stuff out there on that YouTube channel, so you can go check out past games if you want.
Ryan Olson comes up there with the catch. He'll bring up 4th and 1 from about the 11-yard line or so. So it may be closer to 2. I think they need about the 9 or so right here, but we'll see.
This is the best opportunity here for Spanish Fork to score. See if they keep it on the ground.
Play action, they throw over the top. He has a man, touchdown, Spanish Fork. Smith to Tyson Mansfield, and the Dons are on the board in 2023.
And Olympus was expecting the run that time, and nobody covers Mansfield. Great job faking the handoff to Vest, and Mansfield getting downfield and getting open. Easy throw for the lefty Smith to make.
So right there, a big touchdown, the extra point here for Spanish Fork. It's going to be number 12, Benji Vargas, a senior kicker who's on. Snap is low, they get it down, Vargas's kick is up, and it is good. So the Dons score a touchdown here. as the fireworks go off on the video board. The LED lights go all over the place. Fireworks on the video board. A train, I mean.
If you'd have told me that this was possible when I was in high school, I'd have never believed you at a high school game.
Right there, a big-time touchdown. So now we'll see what Spanish Fork does. Do they go for an onside kick, Chris?
Down 21, probably not in your first game of the season. I imagine they probably did it as such that they'll play the first game next year at Olympus. I don't want to give that team any bulletin board material. But I wouldn't be shocked if it is an option if you think you can get it. Maybe it is something you work on in week 1. You know what, Ryan? I've talked myself into it. They should go for the onside kick, if nothing else, just to get some practice reps on it.
Well, the way Olympus is lining up, Brandon Burt must think that it's possible they go for the onside kick. He's got one guy back deep to receive the return, and that is Lloyd, number 14. He's got 2 touchdowns on the night, but I don't know. It looks like to me Spanish Fork's going to kick it deep.
Yeah, I wonder if you could find a spot on the field and see if your guys can run down to it faster and Olympus can get it.
Vargas ready to kick it away here from the 40, and that's what they're going to try to do. They kick it right around the 30-yard line. It bounces around. Ty Siegel picks it up, and he'll just run out. I think he just ran out of bounds with it at the 24-yard line. So 7:53. The clock's still running, so there we go. It's down to 7:47 here.
Not quite to the running clock needed yet for these games. It's 35 points at the high school level. But, that kick ended up not being too bad because Olympus ends up with some of their worst field position of the game.
So right now the officials are talking here. I don't know if they're... We'll see right here whether they're discussing putting more time back on the clock or what right now. It doesn't look like it, so it's going to end up being first down and about 10 coming up.
And Spanish Forks rotated some of their younger guys in.
Low snap, they get it off. Here's a completion out to Evans. Evans across the 30, and he gets hit hard out of bounds. I believe that was Eli Maga there on the tackle. Just kind of pops him with the shoulder there. But that's an Olympus first down. I almost has Skyline first down, and I'm sure Olympus would not like me calling them Skyline.
Now remember the Titans, Ryan.
First down and 10 from the 37-yard line right here for Olympus. $7:24 to go here in the fourth quarter. The give right up the middle. That is going to be Nick Brown on the carry, and Brown is going to be close to the marker. We'll see here, and it'll be a Titan first down here on the running play right up the middle.
Yeah, great job by Olympus opening up a big hole and getting some big yards there by Brown. And he hasn't carried as much as Vest, but he's also been effective in both the running and passing game. On that first drive, he had several big catches where they lined him up in the slot.
Ready to go here again. Brown has the carry up the middle. He'll get about 5 or so there on first down. As the clock ticks under 7 minutes here to go in quarter number 4. 28-7 lead for Olympus. The Titans with the football. See here, Olympus next week. They're going to host Provo. Here's a completion out. This once again out to number 1, Luke Bryant. And Bryant has a first down inside the 40 to the Spanish Fork 39-yard line. That will be a tough test for Olympus next week with Provo.
And that'll be a good measurement for Spanish Fork to see how Provo does against Olympus and kind of calibrate what improvements this team needs to make.
Here's a give right up the middle again with Brown, and Brown gets about 4 or 5 again as the clock ticks now to about 6:08. Next week we'll be at Maple Mountain for Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain, which should be a fun one here. Maple Mountain and Payson, they're tied at 21 late in that one right there, late in the third quarter last last time I saw.
And Maple Mountain had a little bit of a rough patch last season. They've been one of those programs that they make it to the semifinals or in the playoffs, and then they've had years where they only win 1 or 2, and last year just happened to be one where they only, I believe, won 1 game. So they're looking to rebound this season.
Here's a give right up the middle, and Brown's going to be about, I don't know, a yard and a quarter away from the marker. So it's going to be 3rd and short coming up here for Olympus. And Olympus really right now, they're just trying to chew some clock. They're usually waiting until under about 10 seconds to snap it. 5:13 to go here in quarter number 4.
And I think Olympus has learned a lot about their defense and has shown some flashes in this spread offense to be able to distribute the ball to multiple receivers. So I think they've accomplished what they've wanted to in this ball game.
Mosley gets it out to Ty Siegel, number 2. Siegel, a touchdown earlier there. He's able to spin and get down to right around the 24. So should be enough for another first down, as Olympus will be able to chew off some more clock here. Once they get set, they'll start the clock again, I believe.
And you know, Olympus has just been running the ball very effectively on this drive. I think Spanish Fork's been trying to rotate some offense or some defensive linemen and linebackers in and out. You can see the coaches kind of explaining how the game's working. So I think they're using this drive to get some fresh bodies in. But now it looks like they've got the kind of the starting group back in for Spanish Fork.
Some of those starters have played a lot of snaps going both ways today. Olympus just barely gets it off, and no, they do not. And we're going to have a delay. Oh, no, we're going to have, it looks like a false start against the Titans. I thought it was going to be, I looked up and the play clock was just about 0, and then I saw the official from the sidelines indicate the false start. So they'll back him up 5 here.
And outside of that, that's probably the first negative play Olympus has had on this drive. Really, considering it's week 1, we haven't had that many penalties. We've seen week 1 games where it's penalty after penalty. Great job by both teams keeping it clean.
Mosley escaping the pocket, now tries to spin away. He'll throw it, and that is complete over towards the sideline. That is number 24 on the catch. That's Johnny Nelson.
We were looking for our first 2-jack sack. It has not been, Spanish Forks had years where they've gotten a lot of sacks, and tonight they just haven't been able to get to Mosley. And part of that's just, I think, the offensive line that Olympus has, but Spanish Fork just hasn't had anybody really flying through the line, getting pressure play after play like we've seen from some of those defensive ends of the past.
It'll be 2nd and 4 coming up. Pressure comes. This time Mosley gets rid of it, has a man out there. It's caught, stretching for the end zone, and touchdown is Nick Brown. And the whistles blow. We'll see here if this is going to hold or not. There's a penalty flag right around the 21-yard line. From the early indications, I don't think this touchdown's going to stand.
I think it might be hands to the face. I might have dreamed that, but that's kind of what I saw.
Official right there will make the call here.
Of course, I can only see a chop block.
So that will back him up here on the chop block. Take the touchdown off the board for Nick Brown, and it will end up being a 2nd and very long coming up here for the Olympus. Ball will be marked on the 33-yard line right now. 3:42 to go, 4th quarter, 28-7 lead for Olympus.
Yeah, Olympus trying to put the final nail here in the coffin. Spanish Fork trying to get a turnover, see if they can make this game a little bit closer.
There's the give right up the middle right there. One of the backup running backs. I don't think he went down initially. He gets up and gets a few more yards. That is out there. That is Jack Reed, number 19 on the carry for Olympus.
That was a pretty shifty move, considering it It was the backup running back, and Spanish Fork will use a timeout, stop the clock here with 3:33. Try, let this team know, hey, we're not, one of the things Spanish Fork needs to do is play till it's all zeros on the scoreboard there with the time, because still a lot of football to play. A lot can happen in 3:33. I think the ESPN win probability probably has Olympus in the high 90s, but you never know.
Sometimes that win probability can quickly change, but you're talking, Chris, about a touchdown a minute right now for the Dons. We'll see here, 3rd and 16. But, you bring up a very good point. You're kind of to that point here where Olympus has control of this one, but there's still an attitude of, hey, we can play to the final whistle. You just never know when you might make a play and maybe get a touchdown. Or, sometimes we've seen with 3:33 a team score a couple of times and just make the game closer.
And, and still a lot of football to play this season, so you got to get these early reps in.
Mosley taking a shot, has a man out there. That's Bryant. He can't haul it in. It goes incomplete. Double covered right there by, it looked like Logan Siemens and number 8, Bronson Kaluli there, running stride for stride.
And that looked like a pretty good throw. I thought he was going to come down with a Luke Bryant. And, I wonder, he shares the name with the country scener. I wonder how he enjoys that. I used to work with Neil Diamond. I don't think he liked that too much. But
so here's a field goal try right here for Olympus on 4th and 16, right down the middle. So right here, Spanish Fork brings some pressure. Snap good, hold good, kick. I think he missed it wide to the left right there. No good on the field goal try. Spanish Fork will take over with 3:21 to go in the 4th quarter. Chris, what's the focus here? If you're the Spanish Fork offense, what's the focus here on this drive? Is it just building positive momentum? Is it doing the right things right now? Obviously, you really want to get in the end zone.
Well, I kind of think it's a binary choice. You either try and work on your 2-minute offense here, see if you can get some momentum early, or you probably try and hand it off to Vest and see if you can't get downfield and kind of work on that run game. I guess it depends on your philosophy if you still think you can win this or not.
Spanish Fork with 2 timeouts. Here's a completion. That's out to Mansfield. He had the touchdown earlier, and there he's going to be brought down for a loss of a couple.
Yeah, great job by number 21, Joey Thomas, on the corner there, making sure that play went nowhere. And these Olympus cornerbacks have done an excellent job of tackling in space tonight.
So a loss of 2. It brings up 2nd down and 12 from their own 18-yard line. 2:51 to play here in the 4th quarter.
Got a feeling that this Olympus defense is kind of better than we realize, and I think when we see Spanish Fork against Maple Mountain, we'll see a little bit more success next week.
Pass there intended for Ryan Olson. McKay trying to their pump fake to try to get Ryan Olson and the defenders to maybe bite, and just not able to make connection. Brings up 3rd and 12.
3rd and 12 here. Spanish Fork has kind of gone all out on throwing the ball so far. I think you got to stick with that strategy now.
So it'll be 3rd down coming up and 12 from their own 18-yard line. 28-7 lead for Olympus, 4th quarter. 4 wide receivers. Back to throw. Smith sets up the screen, has Ryan Olson at the 18, across the 25, forward, kind of reaching at the last minute. I think Ryan Olson has enough for a 1st down. A nice job right there.
He gets to the 31, and that was screen all the way, set up some blockers downfield, and Smith did a great job of just reaching out and getting that 1st down.
Back to throw. Smith looking deep, takes a shot, has a man out there, just incomplete down the sideline, looking for Ben Koski. Put a little too much on it there.
Yeah, that one was clearly out of bounds, but Olympus did a great job of covering those 3 go routes on your near side of the screen, and their defense has really done a great job of tackling in space those corners, and those corners and safeties have done a good job of covering these Dons downfield. Spanish Fork hasn't been able to beat them with the deep pass. They haven't been able to beat them with the short pass tonight.
2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line. 2:19 to play here in quarter 4. Back to throw. Smith, 3-step, throws that one. This time he has a completion to Koski, and that should be enough for another first down. A nice job right there from Smith to Koski.
A great job of Koski finding a hole in that zone, standing there and waiting for Smith to put it in the one spot in between that zone that they needed to get that first down.
1st and 10, back to throw. Smith again with some time towards the sideline. Koski makes the catch again. This time it's going to be closer to the marker. I think he only got 9, but still nonetheless a great catch there from Ben Koski.
Yeah, and Olympus is just dropping back in a deep zone. Koski finds the hole back-to-back plays, and great job by Smith finding him. And Olympus has kind of rotated out some of their starters, but still, this is a great confidence building.
Smith looking deep for Koski. This one goes incomplete.
A little fighting between 4-on-4 down there. Quattro squared maybe, but anyways, that was uncatchable. Right call not to call pass interference down there. 3rd and 1. This might be the spot where you just want to run it up the middle, see if you can't get that first down for Spanish Fork.
Minute 55 to play in this one. McKay Smith has 4 wide receivers, Vest, and they'll give it up the middle. Vest has a first down and more. He's brought down right at around the 40-yard line or so. A nice gain there for Vest, and I don't know if the whistles were blowing. I don't see. It looks like now they're timeout Spanish Fork. So the Dons will take a timeout with a minute 45 to go here in this one. Spanish Fork next week, Chris, going to Maple Mountain. Maple Mountain, last I had heard, they were tied with Payson 21-21.
And you've been on the new X trying to figure out if there's a different score out there. So if somebody wants to tweet that, Ryan will find it.
So we'll see here with a minute 45.
Or do you tweet now or do you X now? I don't know how these things work.
I would probably say tweet still. I mean, but who knows? I mean, I'm sure it will change. Give it another year or two. I'm sure it will change. With that here, we'll see. Right now, actually, 3rd quarter, Maple Mountain has gone up 24-21. That one, about 2 minutes in the 3rd quarter. I don't know how accurate that might be here. They probably are a little bit further along. Smith back to throw with some time. That one just out in front of Ryan Olson, goes incomplete and brings up 2nd down here for Spanish Fork. Provo up 41-0 on Grantsville. That one starting to get late in the contest there. Canyon View's taking a lead over Mountain View, 36-29. That one late in the 3rd up at the Bruin Bowl.
That's a fun stadium. We called a game there, 6-7 years ago.
2nd and 10 coming up. Right here, Smith rolling away, throwing towards the sideline, has a man. That's complete again. And that's, again, another catch for Ben Koski. So he's had himself a nice 4th quarter here. I believe that's 3 catches on this drive for Koski, the 6'1" senior.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork in this 4th quarter's had a couple of good drives to make this game a little bit closer.
Timpanogos has pulled away from Jordan 56-30. That one in the 4th quarter up in Sandy. 1st and 10 from the 28. Smith back to throw, rolling away. Looking, has a guy out there. Did he overthrow him? And just out of their hands right there. Eli Maga almost was able to haul that one in for a touchdown. It would have been a fantastic catch with him leaping in the air. Goes incomplete to make it 2nd down.
Yeah, and that was putting the only spot that Maga could catch it. If that ball's just 6 inches back, I think he catches it. But great effort by Maga trying to lay out and make that catch. It's one of those just so close that just want that one back a little bit.
Ready to go here, 2nd and 10 from the 28. Smith rolling out, steps up, looks over the middle, has a man. That one in and out of the hands. They're looking for Tyson Mansfield, number 10, and that brings up 3rd down.
Great coverage. Mansfield was not open. Smith was trying to throw him open on that play. Brings up 3rd and 10. Minute 26 to go here. This might be one of those times where it's 4-down territory. Maybe you just try and catch him off guard and run it up the middle. They've had quite a bit of success with Vest running up the middle. He's got to be close to 100 yards, I would assume. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
Ready to go here, 3rd and 10. Smith back to throw. Looking back, they'll throw the screen pass, and Mansfield, I think, dropped it. He tried to quickly pick it up when he didn't hear the whistles, but goes incomplete. 4th down and 10 coming up here for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mansfield dribbled that ball between his legs like it was a basketball, but run sport. 4th and 10, it would be great for Spanish Fork's confidence if they can find a way to score here. And if you're Olympus, I'm sure they think 28-7 looks a lot better than 28-14, but RPI doesn't care. It doesn't really factor in scores.
Ready to go right here. Stepping up is Smith. He breaks one tackle, and then he's brought down from behind. The ball, I think, came loose, and Olympus picks it up. So the Dons will turn it over here. I believe that's their third or fourth turnover.
Yeah, that's
of the ball game.
I believe it's 4.
But
I think they had 2 in each half.
And Olympus will take over right here with 1:15 to go right here. The Dons won't be home here at Don Stadium until, I believe, September 1st. Or sorry, September 8th, when the Mountain View Bruins will come to Don Stadium.
I saw a Pac-12 schedule, a Big Ten schedule for USC and UCLA, and those guys have like 5 road games in a row and 5 home games in a row.
First play there's a completion for Olympus. In at quarterback for the Titans right now is number 16, Max Rice, in there, and he completes that one. Nate Holberg on the catch.
And Olympus elects not to nil the ball here. Trying to get some reps in for that backup quarterback, and why not? You just never know. You're one play away from utilizing them.
4 wide receivers. Here's a carry. That's number 19, Jack Reed. And Reed will get a couple of yards there, I believe. Get out to about the 29-yard line. Make it 3rd and about 1 coming up right here. In fact,
they don't need to run another play.
And Olympus, we'll see here if they line up.
Looks like they're going to walk him off the field
right now. So Olympus is going to come to Spanish Fork and pick up a 28-7 victory over Spanish Fork. Olympus moves to 1-0. Spanish Fork moves to 0-1. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will wrap this one up. We'll have our MVP Sports MVP of the game. You're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Back here on Spanish Fork 17, Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. Olympus tonight picks up a 28-7 win over Spanish Fork. The Titans defense was very tough tonight on Spanish Fork. And really, when you take a look at it, Chris, in a lot of ways, it was the two big plays, I feel like, in that first half, really swung the momentum. But, man, you got to credit that Olympus defense tonight. Anytime Spanish Fork had an opportunity where it looked like, hey, we have a good shot to score, or they had an opportunity to potentially swing some momentum, that Olympus defense either forced a turnover, a 3-and-out, or another situation where they had got the football back. And, I mean, this is going to be a tough defense up there in Salt Lake City this year. Yeah,
they played well. They have some great athletes on the edges. I was impressed with how the cornerbacks played in space. The one weakness Olympus had might have been with their covering the run up the middle. Spanish Fork was able to run at will up the middle, but Olympus did just enough to allow only 7 points. And if you give up only 7 points a game, you're going to win a lot of football games.
I mean, and we talked about this going in. There were some questions about the Spanish Fork offense. Obviously, when you're replacing a player at running back like Joshua Buck, who I believe had 1,300 yards rushing last year, he had a couple other playmakers at wide receiver that Spanish Fork lost. There's always going to be a question mark, especially in high school football, of how, like, who replaces those points, who replaces those yards. And tonight, it just looked like Spanish Fork maybe still trying to find their offensive identity a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they found a lot of success up the middle, and I'm curious to see how well they throw the ball against Maple Mountain. We'll have to see whether this Spanish Fork's passing attack needs some refining, or if they just came up across a good defense. It's hard to tell this first game. All I know is this Spanish Fork team is young. They got in a lot of good reps. Season's young, and we've seen these Smith-coached teams from week to week get better. We've seen them take kickers and make them into quarterbacks. So the long season, and I know one thing, this Spanish Fork Dons team, week after week, seems to improve every year.
Well, and when you really take a look at it, Chris, and you mentioned a great point that I really liked, was that it's a young team. You're a young team, and you played a 5A school, a classification higher than you, a bigger enrollment, and things like that. That's going to give some of these young players who are out there getting maybe some of their first snaps of the year, and that's going to give them a lot of, as the season goes, they're going to get better and better because of some of the games like this.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, next week, same thing. They're playing a 5A school that they're very familiar with in Maple Mountain. But I think it'll be a great season this year here on Spanish Fork as we cover Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork.
So tonight, our MVP Sports MVP of the game goes to Tyson Mansfield, who had the touchdown. We saw him a little bit maybe on special teams and defense as well. But, Chris, a great opportunity right there for a guy like Mansfield to establish himself tonight, especially in a situation where they're trying to still maybe figure out who's going to score, who's going to get those reps. A great opportunity to stand out tonight.
Yeah, for sure. He got that one touchdown pass that he was wide open for, and, he gets our MVP for getting the only points of the night. But, great job by him blocking as a tight end and playing defense as well.
We take a look at it here. We have our next broadcast coming up next week. Maple Mountain Spanish Fork. Chris, you and I have been on the call when there has been some just crazy things happen. And with this one, I don't think it's going to be much different here between these two schools. Both of them have questions to answer about their teams this year. Maple Mountain trying to kind of maybe get things going back in the direction where they would like it to go. Spanish Fork here tonight next week trying to maybe figure out offensive identity. There's a lot of different things that could make that game next week a really good one.
I think it'll be fun. We'll get to learn a lot about both these teams. It's at Maple Mountain. It should be an intense game. There'll be a lot of students, a great environment. So I'm excited to see how Spanish Fork improves from week 0 to week 1.
It'll be fun to see for sure. The Dons tonight come up short 28-7 to the Olympus Titans. For my broadcast partner, Chris Hurst, our entire SFCN sports team, I'm Ryan Pickens saying so long from Don Stadium, and we'll see you next week for more high school football on Spanish Fork 17.